Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Panenka podcast. Today, we're selling out and we're doing a tier list. I'm joined here by Ashlee, Lewis, and Harvey. And to put it simply, the tier list is, as you can see at the bottom, we've got Joke Club. Above bottom, we've got a Stinker Club, basically relegation clubs. You've got Average, they're all right, might have a bit of history behind them. Good is like, they're usually in the Premier League, you'd think of them as a Premier League side and, nice history behind them. And top quality, big history, they're doing well now and, you expect big things from the club. Right, so let's get right into Joke Club and Lewis put Arsenal in there right now.
Right, so basically Arsenal should probably be in good because of their history, but because of how bad they are, we've decided unanimously to put them in Joke Club. Yeah.
This is literally for Arsenal.
I think this is just if any of you are now watching haven't already watched the Arsenal rebuild, you should go back and watch that, where we do sort of delve deeper into why we think Arsenal are sort of not finding form as such at the moment, why we have put them in this category. And if you haven't, then definitely get around to doing that, because we do sort of justify it fairly, I think.
And
I think because of the expectation Arsenal actually have that their performances recently have been shambolic, and that's why they're in Joke Club.
Right, I'll say this in advance. We are recording this on the 2nd of July to get this out. I'm sorry, yes, you beat Norwich 4-0. Congratulations, the local retirement home could beat Norwich 4-0. They can't win games. Look at the Man City game. Look at the Brighton game. This club's consistently.
The Brighton game was falling.
They have such piss easy games and they just can't get it done.
Piss easy games.
Piss easy games, yeah.
Right. So let's stop ripping on Arsenal, because we have quite a few Arsenal fans who watch this podcast, and we don't want anyone crying.
Right. Keep them happy for now.
Right, we'll go in order. We'll go Brighton. I'd say Brighton are an average team. What do you think, boys?
Well, if we're doing this as a club, I would put them in Stinker purely because, I can't remember anything that Brighton have done that's significant at all.
Apart from beating Arsenal.
But that's not hard, is it? So it's not. So I don't know.
This is Brighton's first spell in the Premier League,
This is their second or third season.
Brighton are sort of just there, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, they're just there.
I think realistically, so we can only go off these 3 years. So in these 3 years, as a Premier League club, they've been average.
Oh yeah, but if we're doing this as their club as a whole, history and everything. And if we're going off of that, I think Brighton is Stinker.
Right, and by the way, in advance, we're going off history, but so I think Brighton. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I vote Stinker.
All right, Harvey.
I'd vote Stinker, but I think based off what I'm going to put other clubs in, average and whatnot, I think I'll be quite strict with this, and I think sort of given that they're sat in 15th, and I'd say they're probably still part of the relegation battle, very much so. They are 3 points clear of West Ham now. But even still, that's only 6 away from the drop with 6 games left. So I think Stinker fits this one for the time being, definitely.
Right, Brighton are going in Stinker then. Yep. All right.
Right, so next we're moving on to Crystal Palace. And I think this is average because they are a bit, before the big Zaha run and recently they have been a yo-yo club. But I don't think they're bad enough to be in Stinker,
I would agree.
I'd agree with that.
With teams like Crystal Palace, there's not much to say. Wilfred Zaha, that's really all. They had Andy Johnson that 1 year, who scored 95 penalties, but that's about it.
Yeah, without Wilfred Zaha, they'd be Stinker, but with Wilfred Zaha, they're
I'll say, because they're pushing for Europe. Their fan base is really good as well. And I think they just...
I wouldn't go as far as pushing for Europe. They're quite a mid-table. I think they're sitting, 12th at the moment?
I know, but they're in that. They're in that.
Yeah, they're in that.
Yeah, definitely.
If we're saying Man City get banned, that means up to 7th gets Europa League. So 7th and 7th to 12th is really close, I think.
Yeah, it is definitely.
I'll say.
End verdict. I'd say that the problem in my book, I'd put them in between stinker and average, but in this tier list, I think average is more fitting for them.
Right, so we'll put Crystal Palace at like the bottom of average. So basically, you just I think you can put it halfway, Lewis. I think you actually can put clubs halfway if you try.
I don't think so.
Oh, I've seen people do it right. We'll put Crystal Palace at like the back of average when we've got all our clubs sorted.
Yeah. So at the moment, Palace are 12th, and they're 4 points off 7.
So I think Southampton are another average, but I think Southampton are like top of average.
Yeah.
Because
I'd say top of average.
They've had Pochettino, Ronald Koeman, Claude Puel. They've had managers who've done really well with them, and they have succeeded. Look at the players they've brought through. Theo Walcott, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Adam Lallana, Van Dijk's been there. Mane.
Bale.
Bale, yeah.
There's actually a lot of players. It is actually quite hard to think about. Like, you've probably seen the videos on YouTube. What if Southampton never sold their best players?
Yeah.
And the team is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right. So, so I think I'd say Southampton are a top of average club. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if you want to give any more insight.
No, I think.
I agree.
I think we've covered everything there.
Yeah.
Oh
God.
I don't want to say it.
Oh,
God. I'm just going to go ahead and do it because it needs to be done.
Top quality. We don't want to talk about it. All right. They've just won the league. They've got the most trophies in English football history. Do you like that, Liverpool fans? Okay.
Is that enough for you?
Man City. I don't know.
I'd say because of their recent success.
Because you said we're going off history.
I don't know. I'd put them in good, personally.
Right, let's put this simply. If history is a big part of this, which it is, they've got less trophies than us. So they're good.
I'll say I'd put City in good because I think they're definitely better than Palace and Southampton, but they're definitely worse than Liverpool.
I'd put City in top quality purely because of the domestic success they've had over the last 2 or 3 seasons. They won. What was it? They won every single English trophy that they could have gone for last season, I think.
You know what? He's right. I think we put them in top quality because they
we have to do.
I'd say I think Liverpool, Man City are definitely the 2 best teams in the country at the moment.
Yeah, that's now, but obviously there's another team that's going to go in top quality later. That's much better than Man City history. Right, Norwich stinker. I don't want to stinker.
They're just like they yo-yo. Like if I know Joke Club is a separate tier, but like they're here. They're like for me, they're in between them. They're just yo-yo between Premier League and Championship.
It's like they know how to win the Championship, and they seem to always do it. But then they always get relegated first season. Have Norwich, besides like recently, let's say from like the 2 stints, I believe they've had 2 stints, haven't they?
Yeah.
In 2010s, they just went down straight away.
I feel like they might have survived 1 season and then went down.
They didn't invest coming up. I heard watching the Man United FA Cup game when they won 2-1 in the late minutes of additional time. I heard one of the commentators say that Norwich hadn't invested, and it's pretty much one of the same squads they ended the Championship season with.
Yeah.
So whether that's their choice of like a lack of backing sort of financially, or whether they've actually thought about it, we'll try and do this, you could say organically. I don't know, but clearly either way it hasn't paid off because they are what they're 6 points clear at the bottom with 6 games in hand, and they haven't won a game since coming back from lockdown. So I think we can pretty much say that it's all but over for them now. So I think that stinker is fair to them, definitely.
However, I know Norwich have spent I think 1 million. However, I do think they have the potential to be a lot better. I reckon they'll go down, but they'll come back up and be a lot stronger. They've got the way that club is ran. They've got a project there, and they're fulfilling it.
Yeah, but
Let's
it's
get
ran
you.
well for a Championship club. It's not ran well for a Premier League club.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think they've got the right manager, and they just need that extra quality. I think and then they'll be well up there.
And I'm sorry, Championship fans, but if we're talking about Premier League clubs, then if your club is Championship quality, then you are stinker. You are not good enough. I'm sorry, people who think Championship's the best league in the world. You're wrong, but that's the team that won your division's in stinker. But right, so West Ham.
Do you know what?
I believe a joke club, but someone thinks that just because they got a result against Chelsea that they're not a joke club anymore.
I actually don't think what you just said at all. I think we're not a joke club because we don't have high expectations. I think people have come to terms with West Ham being a bottom of the table, mid-table at like a push sort of team. I think a joke club implies they've got high expectations like Arsenal do, and they haven't met them, which we addressed earlier. Man United a couple of seasons ago, joke club. Liverpool 5, 6 seasons ago, joke club, because they were finishing.
No, I'd say 3 or 4. Because when Klopp first came in, there were rumours of them sacking him.
Yeah.
So,
When Chelsea finished 10th, Liverpool finished 8th behind West Ham in the same season that Leicester won the league. That was their joke club season. I personally wouldn't have West Ham in that because we don't have these high expectations. I think stinker is completely fair because we've had an abysmal season, but I do think joke club is really, really sort of unfair on them.
Maybe you're giving it from a West Ham that you didn't have high expectations. But what I've seen from all the prediction videos from like the past 2-3 years, and when West Ham started investing, there's been expectations for you to finish in the top 10, and I don't think you have once.
No, well, no, the last time we finished in the top 10 was Payet season. It was the 2015-16 season when Leicester won the league. We came 7th, I think.
But, personally, I don't think you can spend over 100 million and not be a joke club, especially if you're pushing for relegation.
It's a good argument, but at the same time, you see all over the internet, you see Arsenal getting absolutely slaughtered for this, that, and the other. You don't really see the same for West Ham because people expect them to lose, even with all this sort of big money spending and investment and whatnot. You kind of see like a game against like a mid-table team, you think, oh, it's them. That's a 3-pointer. If Arsenal lose, it's like, oh my lord, again, no way, sort of thing. Like it's more unbelievable that they've lost, if you will. But like, if it goes in to joke club, then clearly I can't sort of change your minds. But I think there's a massive difference between like Arsenal and West Ham in terms of joke club for sure.
Right,
Ashlee,
so we will have a deciding vote. Ashlee, joke club or stink or bottom? I'm saying at least bottom of stinker. I don't think you get away with this.
I'd put him in stinker. I can't see him being a joke club.
Right, so I can't be bothered with a 2-2 draw. Lewis, give your opinion on what you think first, but I think we're going to put him in stinker.
Yeah, I'd say like joke club is a more. I think it's just because Arsenal and West Ham both have so much expectation on them, and yet they never seem to fulfil it at all. So we've just kind of put them in that tier. But I think West Ham, they're definitely stinker at least. But West Ham should be like good or average for the amount of money they have and invest. They've got a brilliant stadium, the club size and everything, but they're just not. Which is sad. So yeah.
So what are we saying? West Ham stinker then?
Stinker, bottom with Norwich.
Yeah, I don't think I think you're below Norwich.
At
least Norwich have an excuse.
I'd agree that we're below Norwich in terms of we are supposedly meant to be an established Premier League club, whereas they've only just come up. We've been up since the 2011-2012 season. So, we should have a name for ourselves. And the fact that everyone was saying last night we beat Chelsea, this is a club that have been here for so long. If they were to go down, it would be more of a shock than seeing Villa, Bournemouth and Norwich go down sort of thing. So, stinker sort of justifies it at the bottom, definitely, I think. So thank you for not putting it as joke.
Yeah, you're a very stinky club, but not, I guess, not a joke club. Right, Aston Villa's a hard one because if we go off history, Aston Villa are good, but
League form wouldn't say the same.
like Aston Villa have a right history behind them.
Oh, it's tough. I'd say where they are, I'd say they're definitely in either average or stinker. But
Definitely not stinker. If we're
I'd
going
say
off history,
with the history and the current form, they're in average.
I'd say they're at the top of average.
I'd say they're in good.
Yeah,
I'd say they're at
stinker.
If they survive relegation, I'd say definitely average.
I'd say they're at the top of average. You can't. If history is an important factor, and that's why we put Brighton in stinker, then Aston Villa have to be at the top of average. Just touching distance under good. Right. Next is Everton.
Try not to be biased here.
Well, no, I say we're good.
I'd put Everton in good.
We have the 5th most trophies in English football history. We have more trophies than Man City. So if Man City get top quality, we get good. I know, like
in sort of saying that, when was the last time you won a trophy?
It doesn't. Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, but if history's a part of it, which we have established, we cannot be in the same tier as Crystal Palace, Southampton, and Aston Villa.
I'd put you top of average, and I'd put Aston Villa at the top of stinker. To be honest,
you're being way too critical, Matt.
Aston Villa were like European champions at one point.
No, I know, but that was long before I was born, and probably long before my parents were born. So, like, that's a long time ago we're talking. And yes, it is history, but they've not won any of the last 5, and they're getting smashed week in, week out. So, like, history does so much for a club until their current form doesn't back it up anymore.
I mean, if we're going off current form, we'd be 3rd in the Premier League based off current form. Since when Ancelotti came in, so we're not average.
Everton, the last 10 years, this decade, I'd say they were average. But I'd say as a club as a whole, and the way they've been going recently, and they are good, and they should be.
You have to put it in perspective as well. Like, before 2015-16ish, we didn't have any money, and we were finishing 6th and 7th consistently. We had no money.
I think backing a Carlo Ancelotti, you could be good, confirmed, 100%. And if we are going to put them in good, I'd say the middle or back end of good. If we get any more,
100%
in there, because 100%. Now with Ancelotti coming in, was it the start of the season, end of last season?
January, I think.
Season, I think.
He's not had a lot of time. He's not had a big sort of transfer window to change the team the way that he wants. I think given him the time to sort of sort this stuff out, I think for sure that Everton could be the top of good. Possibly even in a few years, if you manage to keep a hold of your big players, even pushing for the top spots in the league. But for now, I think the very top of average or middle to bottom of good is like an accurate sort of representation.
Right. Man United, top quality. We'll let Ash have this segment to himself.
Yeah, no, you can't put them anywhere else but top quality, really. They've won.
You've got to put them in front of City on that, though.
Yeah. They're in. They just
the history that we have 20 league titles. I'm just saying, 20 league titles.
Lewis,
more than Liverpool.
That needs to be in front of City.
Right.
Not in front of Liverpool, though. Now Liverpool are the top dogs in England.
Yeah, Liverpool at the moment are top dogs, but we've won more Premier League titles and not Premier League titles. We've just won more English titles.
Right. So Sheffield United, I don't know.
Sheffield United.
I put them in average personally.
They do have some Premier League quality, and they've been in the Premier League before. And now they're pushing for. I'd say bottom of average.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
However, well, with the way they're going, they'll push up to high average if they get into Europe.
There's really not much. I don't know about push up to high average, but I think that takes a few years. I think you've got to solidify yourself before you go into high average. But you can't just have 2 good seasons and then you're in high average because you survived. But I'd say bottom of average. Burnley.
Stinker.
They're, I don't know. I think
they're average, but low average.
I think they're bottom of average as well.
Yeah.
They're one of these clubs that can spend little money and know how to survive. Obviously, if Dyche goes, I think that might change next year, but I think they're definitely better than the clubs that are below them, no offence, Harvey.
Yeah, like I think they're better than Brighton, Norwich, and West Ham.
Mm.
I think are we all going here then? Average.
Yeah. Right. So next we're at Chelsea, and Chelsea are either. I think top quality can be 4 teams realistically.
I think they're low top quality, high good. They're in that bracket.
Yeah.
I would give Chelsea low top quality. Look at how many league titles they've won. Look at the talent they have. Look at the transfer window they've just had.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like top quality is the top 4. You know, the solidified top 4. You know, Bournemouth. I don't know.
I'd say they're stinker for me.
I'd say stinker as well.
I don't know because they finished 7th with an average as best team.
I think it's because everyone still like looks at Eddie Howe as like, oh, he brought them up from League 2 to the Premier League, and I think that's like they've forgotten how bad they've been last few years. Like they've got progressively worse, and now it looks like they're going to get relegated. I don't think when you look at the teams in average and like the size of their clubs and how much they've achieved, I don't think Bournemouth are an average at all.
Yeah,
I don't think of Bournemouth as a solidified Premier League club.
Yeah,
Did any of you watch the Newcastle Bournemouth game?
Yeah, I saw the highlights.
Yeah,
they were ripped to shreds.
They were absolutely awful.
If
it's going stinker, I'd argue that they might even be sort of under West Ham, to be honest.
No.
I'd say West Ham are high stinker and Bournemouth are just behind it, I think.
Yeah, because you have to still think Bournemouth got 7th with that championship squad, basically.
Yeah.
That is literally better than any achievement West Ham have had in the past 20 years.
Like the fact that they barely changed
we came 7th as well.
Since they came up as well.
Yeah, but you came 7th as a much better squad.
Not really.
The fact that you can get to the group
we were
stage
sort
of
of
the Europa
carried
League
by
is...
the Payet for most of the season.
Yeah, but tell me one player on that Bournemouth team that comes anywhere close to Dimitri Payet.
I think I can.
Right.
Yeah,
Leicester. I think Leicester get bottom of good for virtue of having a Premier League title.
I think they've got. Yeah, I think the fact that they've got a Premier League title and the fact that they're up there again this year, and I think the club is definitely well run and it's quite big. And I think,
like, if we were going off current form, Leicester would be bottom of stinker, but that's not the point.
Yeah, like I think Leicester overall is a good club.
Yeah.
Watford. Average? Bottom of average again?
Bottom average, high stinker, but I don't know what.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
They are a bit of a yo-yo club too, but
well, they've managed to stay up for a couple of years.
I want to say stinker because of the club that they just get rid of every manager they have.
But I'd say the same thing with. They're the same as Brighton in the terms of I can't think of anything they've done that's significant.
They beat Liverpool.
Apart from that, like
that's quite a big one.
Yes,
I know, but you've got one result. Doesn't I'd say Watford a high stinker.
I say they're a stinker. Watford are a stinky club.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right, now we're into the most overrated club in England, Newcastle United. They're an average club.
I'd say they're mid to low average.
Like, people who put Newcastle good is because they've got a load of fans and a good atmosphere. They literally haven't won anything.
Yeah.
I think mainly it's because they pushed for the Premier League title in like 1992 or something like that.
If Newcastle as a club are managed correctly, they
I would love it if we beat them.
I would love it if we beat them.
Love it.
I'd say if Newcastle are managed correctly, they definitely have potential to be good.
Yeah, because they've got a massive fan base, but they're an average club. They haven't won anything. You can't put a team into good just because they have a load of fans.
Yeah.
Right. Tottenham.
I think they're low good.
I think average.
Good, No, Harvey, come on, don't be stupid. Look,
They got to a Champions League final. They've barely spent any money. They've got a half-decent history, I think.
Yeah, they got to
They're
the
low-
Champions
they're
League
low
final with no financial backing.
I think
You
they're
think they've
low
got a
good.
good history? They've got one Carling Cup to their name in the last 20 years. I don't think they're good at all. Yes. Don't stop me there. Yes, they had Champions League final, and under Poch in his second to last season, they were unbelievable. You know, they played brilliant football, and there was a time where they scored the most goals in the Prem, best clean sheets. You know, they were flying with like prime Kane and like Ericsson and whatnot. But you could argue that in like the last season, they've almost been like a joke club because they've just been so poor and sort of inconsistent with results. Obviously not to Arsenal's level with the history and whatnot, but like they don't have a history and they're currently 8th. And we've always seen them as a big top 6 club. For this season, they've not really done it for me. Maybe Jose, maybe next season has like a bit of a stronger grip on them. But I think for the time being, they're either going to go top of average or the very bottom of good.
Yeah, I put them
at best.
So I'm going to go low good.
I think they've got to go good because just to put it in context, they had a man who has won the European Golden Shoe. So that is the most goals in Europe. They had arguably one of the best centre-back partnerships the Premier League has ever seen. They've had one of the best runs to a Champions League final any team has ever had. You know, that, I'm sorry, but,
No trophies.
right. Man City have never been to a Champions League final. We've never been to a Champions League final. Leicester haven't even fucking sniffed a Champions League final. Fucking the only other club here who's been to a Champions League final besides the top quality ones are Arsenal, and they're a joke club right now.
And Aston Villa, obviously, that was.
Yeah. But yeah,
I think they go
I think. And then last but not least, Wolves.
Wolves is a tough one.
Yeah, Wolves is a really hard one.
Because you have to put in context, Wolves before this Portuguese takeover.
Yeah.
And they were shocking.
I'll put
Middle
them.
of average.
Yeah,
no,
I'd go average.
the top of average.
Top of average
Yeah, I'd say
now.
that's top of average.
Yeah, top of average now with the history. I'd
If
say bottom
Wolves
of
go on a
average.
big run
Oh, shit.
and Wolves get Champions League, which is still possible, then I feel like we might change. But right, so now what I think we do is we reorganise this a bit so we have it in like a right. But first of all, we're taking if we actually put Arsenal seriously in a tier, it'd be good. So stop complaining. But
Yeah. So
right,
should we put Arsenal in good for this?
Yeah, so we can order it properly. Yeah,
The rebate.
But they will be put back in Goat Club.
Yeah, at the end, right. So what I say is, from top quality, it is Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Man City.
Yeah. We're going from
That's-
left
I
to
feel-
right, by the way, in terms of
Yeah.
best to worst as
I
well.
feel like that Champions League puts Chelsea above. Arsenal at top of good. Us after them, then Leicester, then Spurs. I'd say then
Really?
Leicester, then Spurs. Premier League title. Spurs have barely got any league titles even before.
Okay, I'd say Tottenham and Leicester are very close to each other.
Yeah. Right. Aston Villa top of average. If you disagree, I would say if anyone disagrees, just say as well.
It's not letting me move. Well, it's not letting me move. Hold on. Right, there we go. For me, it's between Newcastle. I think Newcastle goes second.
Newcastle, I'd put after Aston Villa.
Yeah, Newcastle, then Wolves. Then Southampton after Wolves, and then I'd say then Crystal Palace after Southampton. And then I think that's...
I think that's it.
Yeah, and then Stinker, West Ham at the top.
I like the Brighton at the top.
No, they've never been in the... Watford second.
I would go with that.
Yeah, I'd say that's right.
Mm.
So
Right.
does anyone disagree? Anyone want to say a team should be moved?
I think Brighton should be above Watford and Stinker.
No,
Oh,
I think Watford.
this is Brighton's first ever stint in the Premier League, Watford have been in 2 or 3 times.
So Watford have been in 2 or 3 times. They've reached an FA Cup semi-final as well, and they've managed to be pushing for Europe at some cases. I think they're better than Brighton.
That one season.
Oh, actually, just now, Inter Milan have signed Hakimi. Just now,
Signed Hakimi?
45 million.
Okay,
Man.
completely irrelevant to the podcast, but now you guys know a week later that Hakimi has signed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you'll probably see that on the Weekly Waffle, but that's why they mention it here. Remember, this is the 2nd of July.
You'll have to watch the Weekly Waffle to get our views on that.
Right. I'd say that looked pretty tasty.
Yeah, I'd say that's good.
Everyone agree with it?
I agree with
I
that.
do.
Right. So, I'm going to scroll this so I can do the outro. Right. I want to thank you all for watching this tier list video. Thank you for Lewis, Harvey, and Ashlee for joining us. Make sure you like everything on the YouTube, even if this is your first video you're watching. Then I want you to go to Twitter and to Instagram and follow them both. Like all the posts, comment on the posts. And then besides that, I think that's about it. Follow at the Toffee Zone on Instagram. And then, right, does anyone want to plug anything? Because I know everyone's got their own little fan pages now that you might want to plug while we're here.
I'll let Ashley go first.
At the United pitch, it'll be in the description, Lewis.
And then my one is at Talk Reading.
And Harvey's is at I'm lazy because he can't be bothered. And then, right, so anyway, thank you all for watching and goodbye.